Alright guys, what's up? Alright, I'm gonna try to get straight to the point here. The other day I made a couple TikToks about this topic and they did really well and people were asking for more, so I was like, might as well just make a whole video about it. So that's what we're here to do. Okay, I was just watching a lot of other like college essential videos or things you should bring for college videos, and a lot of them like have a lot of stuff that like I feel like you don't really need. They're just nice to have, right? That was also a critique that I got on my TikToks, where like you don't need some of this stuff, but I was just like thinking, oh, it'd be nice to have. But I also know that not everyone's in the financial situation in which they can like spend a bunch of money on like things that they don't necessarily need. So I thought for this video I'd try to divide it into like first priority, second priority, and then like miscellaneous stuff. I guess that's the best way to describe it. By the way, follow me on TikTok and Instagram while you're at it. Without further ado, I'm gonna get into the video. Okay, starting off with things you need, or like what you should buy first. If you're living in a dorm situation in which there are communal bathrooms, this is some stuff that like, okay, low-key you do need this stuff, like you should buy it. First up is what I'm gonna dub the shower trio. Now this includes shower shoes, a shower caddy, and a bathrobe. Out of these three, I think the bathrobe is the least necessary, but I still think it's a really good idea for anyone who can't afford it. Shower shoes, these are like, you can find these for like $2. You just need a pair of really cheap flip-flops that are waterproof that you can wear in the shower, because those showers are disgusting. Next, a caddy. So when you're gonna like carry all your shower stuff to the shower, and I personally recommend getting the soft ones and not the like hard plastic structured ones, but that's just a personal preference. And then lastly, the robe. If you have the money for it, I highly suggest you get one of these, especially for girls. You can try to like wrap your towel around your like body and like shuffle back to your room, but like the robe, you put on the robe and by the time you get back to your room, I swear to God, you're dry. The next thing I think is pretty essential are power strips. So I would recommend having 2 power strips. I had one that I had right next to my bed, and then I had one that I had in like the desk area. Next thing I think is really important are command hooks. Most dorms are like, you cannot put anything into the wall. So command hooks are a really great way to have like a temporary thing. I use them to like hang up some lights. We also use the bigger command hooks. We just got those like big fat ones and we put them on like the side of the dresser so we could just hang stuff up. Okay, the next thing that is not necessarily an essential, but something that I really think you need, a handheld vacuum. Now, I actually didn't have one of these in my room, but let me tell you, it was so freaking annoying. Like, I think like the cleanliness of the room would have been improved by like 50 times if we had one, because we just had like a broom and like no one ever wanted to sweep, and so like the room was always just like gross, and I'm like, if we had just bought one of those tiny handheld vacuums, like it would have been so much better. Okay, now for laundry. So everyone needs a laundry hamper, right? I'm gonna specifically recommend that those like laundry hampers that look like backpacks, because like you can carry your laundry down to the laundry room and it's like super easy. I didn't have one of those. I just had a laundry basket that I put all my laundry in. And let me tell you, let me set the stage, okay? I lived on the first floor and the laundry room was in the basement. So 1 flight of stairs and like minimal walking time, and the basket, it was still too much for me. I was like, I can't do this. But a lot of my friends who had the ones that you could just like carry on your back, those are optimal. And then you can like wash the hamper in the laundry, like anyway. Oh, another thing that I think is essential for college students if you're living on campus is one of these bad boys, one of these phone wallet cases things. A lot of the times you can cop these for free at like events. I got a million of these from like the activities fair that we had because all the clubs made them. Although I don't know if those are gonna happen this year, but whatever. When all the buildings are tap access only, which for most colleges I believe they are, if you have your student ID card on the back of your phone, you can just tap your phone and go. You don't have to like bring out your wallet or whatever. And I also put like, I just put all my cards in here and I just have them. It does, on the other hand, mean that if you lose your phone, you're also losing everything else. So, I mean, maybe I guess if you lose your phone a lot, this isn't the best idea, but that was never a problem for me. Lastly, to round out the things that I think should be your first priority when you're buying stuff for college is a mini fridge. It's one of the more expensive items, but Hear me out. As someone who experienced life with a fridge and without a fridge, my first semester I had 2 other roommates in a room that was only supposed to be a double, so we really had no space at all for a fridge. And then second semester, one of my roommates moved out so that it was just 2 people, so we did have room for a fridge and we did get one. Let me just tell you, that fridge, it changed my life. No, not really, but like it was really helpful. I think the biggest problem for me was that I would want snacks that had to be refrigerated, because like obviously the dining hall is only open for like meals, and I really wanted just to eat like yogurt and that wasn't like a possibility because I didn't have a fridge. But then I got one and it was much better. So that concludes my list of like first priority or top priority items. Now moving on to things that are the second priority slash nice to have. In my opinion, at least. These might be like more important to some other people, but like, okay, first of all, y'all know I got that cart from IKEA. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about or not. It's like a little cart. It has like 3 little shelves on it and it can roll around and it's like adorable. This cart was amazing. It was so amazing, in fact, that my roommate who didn't have the cart saw me using the cart and then bought the cart, okay? Basically, I used the cart as a nightstand pretty much. So like the top layer of the shelf was right next to my bed and it was like the perfect height, and then the bottom 2 I could just put whatever I wanted. You know, after a night out, you need some water, you put a little water on your nightstand and you're all good. Anyway, so yeah, if you're missing out on a nightstand, get that cart. It works perfectly and you can roll it around and it's great. Okay, next, mattress toppers. Those freaking twin XL mattresses that they have in the dorms are so uncomfortable. I know a lot of people don't have a mattress topper and they're like totally okay with it, like it's totally fine for them, but like I could not sleep on those hard ass mattresses. Okay, next up I have a pair of slippers. If you're gonna be living in the dorms, you're not gonna be wanting to A, put your shoes on every time you leave your room, and B, walk all over the dirty ass hallway with your socks or your bare feet. Low-key, that should be in the first priority list. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, next is a good desk lamp, or alternatively just find places with good lighting to study. I swear to you, my eyesight got worse after I went to college. I was studying in places with really shitty lighting. Now, I know a lot of people like to study in libraries and they don't study at all in their dorm, so that might not be a problem for you. But if you're planning on doing some studying in your dorm, I would invest in a good desk lamp. Like seriously, I got my prescription in August and then by November I was like, these glasses like aren't working anymore. So yeah. Next up I have bed risers. I didn't have bed risers because I found that like I had enough storage, but a lot of the times, you know, these dorm rooms can get really tiny and that underbed space is valuable, so you want to milk it as much as you can. After that, I have a Brita filter. My dorm had like enough water fountains with like good drinking water that I never found like drinking water to be a problem. But in the comments of my TikTok, a lot of people were like, get a Brita filter. I like tasted the tap water once and I was like, never again. Maybe get a Brita filter. Okay, now these next 2 are like not really, like you don't need these. I just found that they were helpful. First up is AirPods if you have an iPhone. So if you have an iPhone, AirPods are really, really convenient to use because as soon as you put them in your ears, they automatically connect. You can just start listening to music whenever. And I also found that they were really good for when you're exercising, like working out. AirPods are just really helpful. If you don't have an iPhone, then like probably don't get AirPods. Get like different wireless earbuds. But if you have an iPhone, AirPods are a great option. The next one is a pair of good headphones for like when you want to study in loud places. So I would study in coffee shops a lot, or like the student center, which was always like pretty loud, had a lot of people like walking by and talking. So I found that like a pair of good headphones was really helpful. You know, if I didn't have those, I probably wouldn't be able to focus, but I also wanted the ambiance of like the coffee shop. Yeah, anyway. Next thing I have is a kettle. Okay, so this is really random, but like I had a kettle and me and my roommates ended up using it so often. I can't even recall what exactly we used it for, but I remember I made a lot of tea. We would cook ramen with it. If you like drinking tea and if it's loud, a kettle is mad helpful. Also, I was like getting worried because I was spending too much money on coffee, so I ended up buying just like this huge thing of tea and I would make tea every day. Anyway. Oh, this next one like saved my life, I swear. So me and my roommates got a fan at the very beginning of the year because our dorm was super hot and there was no AC. But then we kept using the fan after it got really cold because, okay, so it created a bunch of white noise, right? And that's super, super helpful if you have roommates, because if there's no white noise and you're not like a really deep sleeper, as soon as like anyone opens the door or like walks by or like something moves, you're gonna wake up. So what we did was we took the fan back out and it was just like white noise. One of my roommates went to bed really early because she had to go to crew in the morning, and I was never like that, so it worked out really well. Okay, next thing I have is an iPad Pro. Now I don't even have one of these, but I really wish I did. If my parents were willing to sponsor me, I totally would have gotten one. A lot of my friends had an iPad Pro, the one that like is compatible with the Apple Pencil, just to take notes, but it ended up being like so helpful for them because all their notes, all their homeworks were in one place, and it was so easy for them to organize it just like on the iPad. And so while I would take notes in like massive notebooks, and then like all my homework was done on loose leaf paper, and it was so annoying. If an iPad is not something that you can afford, which is very realistic, probably a lot of people can, for taking notes, I recommend don't get separate notebooks, get those multiple subject notebooks. And lastly, on my list of like nice to have or like second priority items for all my gals out there, I would recommend a mirror that has like lights on it, because you never know like what the lighting in your dorm is gonna be like. In my room, the lighting was ass, okay? On top of that, we got direct sunlight for like a couple hours in the morning. I ended up using my desk lamp as like lighting. I would like just point it at my face and it would like low-key blind me, but like you gotta do what you gotta do for the glam. But also, especially if you're like gonna go out and you wanna like touch up your makeup and it's like dark out, so like obviously there's not even like natural light, get that light up mirror, you know what I'm saying? And that concludes my second priority slash nice to have list. Okay, and lastly, I just have a couple of like convenient or miscellaneous items that are going to be pretty helpful. First of all, I'd highly recommend getting one of those Tide to Go sticks. It's one of those sticks that can like remove stains instantly, and then you just like throw it in the wash. They're just super helpful. People be spilling stuff all the time. Next thing would be get that Emergency. Okay, so Emergency is like some vitamin C powder or some shit, but I swear to God, every college student has it. It's our like go-to remedy to solve all problems. I honestly don't even know what vitamin C is supposed to do, but like we all had it, so yeah. Next on my list would be a first aid kit. People in college never have band-aids, and people always need band-aids. And so whenever people be like, yo, do you have a band-aid? I'd be like, hell yeah, I have a band-aid. And like, I was the only one who had band-aids. Anyway, get yourself some band-aids or a first aid kit, you know, just in case. Next, I recommend getting one of those mini stapler things. A couple people mentioned that like, oh, no one turns in like physical papers anymore, but I did. Also, for all my like STEM classes, we had problem sets. We always had to like print out our problem set and staple it and turn it in. People were asking to use my stapler all the time, and even though there were always staplers like next to all the printers, they never worked. So yeah, just get a stapler. Okay, next I have a lint roller. It's just helpful, and no one has one ever. Self-explanatory. Next, okay, a good pair of scissors. Scissors are so helpful, but I feel like a lot of people won't necessarily think to bring a pair of scissors, but like bring a pair of scissors or buy one when you get there. I don't know. Another one, nail clippers. No one ever has nail clippers. And then lastly on my list, I have tape. Again, people always need tape for random stuff, and no one ever has it. And that's it. So I hope this was, you know, enjoyable for you. All right, so I hope this video was helpful. Those are all the things I could think of. I'm sure there are more, so like leave any suggestions you have in the comments. And yeah, have fun in college, be safe, follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram, all that good stuff. Okay, bye.